I've got her attitude, but I can't attempt to sing like her. I've got that attitude.
To my baby.
Dude, are you here because you're both from Ohio? Is that why you're here?
No. I sent Chrissy Hynde a note asking if she'll go to prom with me.
No, you didn't. Did you really?
Which would have been in 1980. When did I graduate high school? 1987.
And she responds, "No, can I guess what what it probably would have been? Fuck off."
Yeah. Fuck off.
Fuck off.
Yeah. No, but I am from. I had a special love for Chrissy Hynde because she was from Cleveland.
So special.
So special.
Oh, special.
And she would name call, like Euclid Avenue, and I'm like, yeah, that's near where I live.
I know that does feel good. Like, Jared, like what bands? I mean, it's anytime me and the producer up there in that corner, we used to go to the 930 Club in DC all the time.
Sure.
And it would be like when even you get that feeling of they're just like, "What's up, DC?" And you're like, "They're talking about me. I'm from DC.
It's me."
But specifically is that Ohio, and I mean, maybe I'm wrong because I've only been doing this podcast 6 years and recently off of Kratom, so I'm thinking clearly. Is that are there a lot of rock stars from Ohio? Like who are the rock stars? Because she didn't make it there. She went back there, and we'll get all into that. But
Devo.
I know that.
Ooh.
Okay. No. We're going to talk about that. That's 100%. Yes.
Well, you asked me a question. I'm giving you an answer.
Yeah, I fucked
Go
up.
ahead.
Okay. I fucked up.
Tracy Chapman.
Ohio players. Tracy Chapman.
9 Inch Nails.
Holy
Strong.
shit.
Okay. So get off my back.
I am off your back. I'm
Michael
pissed that my
Stanley
picture
Band.
isn't hanging on the goddamn wall, though. I was expecting my picture up there. And Morty, big shout out to DJ Morty Coyle, who helps me prep for this always. He said, what you need to do, because he's like, Josh, I don't have time to go over this record with you, but the one thing you need to do is print out a picture of David Wain and put it right up there where Otis Redding is to fuck with him.
Didn't.
Yeah, because, dude, I'm going through a detox, bro. What do you expect from me, man? I'm trying to clean my life up, okay?
Good for you, man. Good for you.
Thank you very much. No, everything's great. Everything's great. And sometimes it's one of those things where you couldn't hope a record falls into your lap. There's like this record, and then I'm really into, and Jared, we talked about that on our Patreon, this new band, Turnstile. I know you're a punk guy too, so have you been hearing about this band out of Baltimore called Turnstile? They've been doing a bunch of free concerts. Yeah, do you like them? Thoughts?
I have not. I'm dying to hear about it.
Oh my God. No, they're just a hardcore band out of Baltimore, but very shoegazy. It's very like genre bending.
Awesome.
And it's just such good music. They're putting on these free shows all over the country as they release their new record. And I've just been watching videos, and you're like, oh man. And I think probably much like you, even though you went from killing it in comedy to transitioning into music with middle-aged jam band. Well, you know what I mean? But then me, it's like I gotta still get there, but it's like you see it. It's like where you look at it and you're like, you see these bands rocking and you're like, oh, that's fun. Comedy's great.
There is nothing as a performer playing music on stage, playing the drums for me specifically. And if you're connecting with your bandmates and an audience, even just what we do, playing covers for fun, there's a certain visceral thrill of that's not the same as making a movie or doing a comedic performance or being an actor. It's a totally different kind of truly visceral.
It's beautiful.
When you let go and it's just happening, it's amazing.
It's beautiful. There's a connection in song. And whether it's like you said, it's in, because music is just enjoyed. It doesn't make a difference who or what or the meaning. If the song sounds good, I mean, the lyrics, could be like that Italian singer. Remember that Italian singer that tried to prove Italy right, that if I sing an all American gibberish, it'll be a #1 hit.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like,
skip
it up.
Chuzo. I love that song.
So do I,
so
dude. Somebody needs to sample it. But the shows you just. It's like and he's like, fucking, this guy's killing it. But that just proves the point that music is just so important. Whereas comedy, which is still laughter is beautiful, there is something about where comedy is like, yeah, I don't like the way that guy looks or the way he said that. But music, they don't give a fuck what you look like. I mean, Christ, some of the biggest rock stars of our times are some of the worst human beings that ever lived. And yet we love the music. because we try to ignore that Led Zeppelin stuck a fish in a woo woo at a hotel on Sunset Boulevard.
When they're rocking to your diaphragm, it's like nothing else matters.
Nothing else matters. Great song, by the way, by Metallica. First Metallica shout out of the podcast.
Rocking to your diaphragm. I love that song.
So do I. My God, you know the B
Rock you
side.
to the diaphragm.
You know the B side, Scoliosis. It's so good. It's so good, dude. See how clear headed I get, Jer, when you
Working.
it's crazy.
Really working out.
So you grow up in Shaker Heights, Ohio, which is a great song by a little known band. Fuck, what is that Scottish band that I was really into? Like Shallow Grave. Check the math on that. Or no, it was nothing like. No, I'll find it because it's on my phone. But that's besides the point. So you said you graduated high school in '86. The record we're talking about today, which arguably might go down on this podcast, I would put this up there with the Cars debut, and yet we haven't done Appetite for Destruction yet, which is my favorite debut record of any band in the history of music.
Okay.
We are talking about the Pretenders' debut self-titled studio record released January 11th, 1980 by an Ohio girl with a bunch of British dudes. Right. How did you find it? I know you're a hip guy, but like how does somebody, dude, bro. How do you find the Pretenders in Silver Springs, Ohio? I know that's not the name of it.
Shaker Heights, Ohio. 87 is when I graduated. I feel like my sisters, I had much older sisters, and so they were playing that record, and I remember Brass in Pocket really well as like something that you heard a lot. It was a hit. And then, of course, they played Brass in Pocket a lot on MTV.
Great music video, dude. That's like such a right. Like I just rewatched it.
Sexy, like oof.
Yeah, and this is the band. They're all eating. She's got that punk rock attitude. She's got the hair that's already cool with the bangs. Yeah, she's rad.
And then I think that a little after that, I just discovered, there's a whole nother album there's a whole album that goes with this that is mind blowing. And I guess so. It came out in '80. I was 10. But little by little, I was just by the time the next album came out in '83, I was a Pretenders obsessed super fan, and that's when I was just like, and I went to go see them, I think for the first time in '83 on the Learning to Crawl tour. So I never got to see the original lineup. But
oh wow, I didn't know that. Yeah, I knew that there were breakups, and I see that there's been a long list of people that were involved with them, but.
Well, the guitar player and the bassist both died of overdose.
Fuck! Morty never got me to that part. I guess we cut off right when Chris Turner produced the record, and then it was like, all right, and I gotta go. We're starting in 5 minutes.
Right. No, it was, and James Honeyman Scott was like a legendary, incredible guitar player, but he only played on the first 2 albums, and then he died of an overdose. And Pete Farndon, the bassist, I think was fired around that time, and then also died of an overdose.
No, I did read. Yeah, I did read that. How was the concert? Where was it? Where did you see them?
I saw them downtown Cleveland at I can't remember what it's called, like the public auditorium I can't remember, but it was downtown, and the lineup was the guy who plays on the Learning to Crawl album was the guitar player. I can't remember his name, and she's always had just a string of young, sort of good-looking bass players that come in and out for all, like bass players never lasted more than too long with that band. But and they were incredible. I loved it, and I love that album too. Learning to Crawl with that has My City Was Gone and. But
I'm not too, what's funny is like, I guess I am a Pretenders poser. I'll be the first to say it. I mean, it's the first time I've ever really listened to the record. And besides, like,
you're crazy.
I know. Well, that's why I do the podcast, David.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to find it. I needed it now. Not
right, you calm down.
Before. I don't mean to yell, okay? It's just my normal speaking voice.
I can't believe you're yelling at me like this.
Scream. And my scream is so intense that I don't even have. It's more of a spoken word scream. I'm the Saul Williams of screaming. Anybody get that reference? Any of our 55-year-old listeners at a studio apartment in San Francisco's Mission District? No one? You have the very similar life as Chrissy Hynde. You are the Forrest Gump of comedy, and she is the Forrest Gump of music. Thoughts on that connection? Because I'm about to really blow our minds of how close.
Yeah, I'd love to hear you connect those dots because I don't know exactly what you mean by that.
Well, you've done so much. I mean, you really have, David. It's like when we've talked about on the podcast before when you came on, you did. Jared, check my math. Is it Regatta de Blanca? Is that what the record he came on for by the Police?
I think it was the other one.
Which one? Atlantis de Amor?
Well,
or Scoodly Bondoodly, other names of the brothers of the Police is like there's Haka Malaka, there's Synchronicity, there's Chunky.
All I know is I was on before, but now I'm here today, and all we have is today.
Oh man, you've been watching my sets recently, haven't you? Where I tell the audience to do that to convince them to sing with me. My God! All right,
I don't need to look back.
No, exactly. This is the only moment we have, and it's the greatest moment of our lives because it's all we have. All right, so Chrissy, this is how I say this. So here we go, and I'm going to make the connections to what we were talking about. So if anybody doesn't know, it's like me that doesn't really just finding out about this group, the Pretenders, or you've heard about it, blah blah blah. When I say Chrissy is the Forrest Gump of music, she really is. She goes, she's from Ohio, from Akron. Yeah. How far away is Akron from you? By the way, an hour. Okay, cool. So she's from Akron, Ohio. She meets Mark Mothersbaugh from Devo at Kent State. She's affected by the shootings, just like him, which, of course, we had Gerald Casale on the podcast to do Brian Eno, who actually produced, I think, their first record with, and how they were affected. And that's what got them to start Devo. In 73, she moves out to London, and you got to consider what's going on at that time is you got early Led Zeppelin, you got Deep Purple, basically the glam rock scene, no punk. She meets Nick Kent, basically the London Lester Bangs, a writer for an NME. He's kind of like, and she wants to be a writer and do all this stuff. Then she gets a job at this sex shop that is ground zero for punk rock. Malcolm McLaren, Vivian Westwood own it.
Right.
Isn't this kind of sounding like your career a little bit, except for out London, maybe New York?
It's literally exactly the same career I did.
I see.
We worked in the sex shop.
Yeah, you did. Slanging bills, as you called them. Slanging bills.
It was easier to, I was a suburban kid from Cleveland, Ohio. She was from Akron, Ohio, more working class place. But then she went to London and did this kind of on her own. I went to NYU and I met all my friends there, and we,
same thing, pretty much
the same thing.
We
both went to a big city, met a bunch of people, and made some stuff happen.
Because even though here, I'll make the connection even closer. Even though you only went to New York and she went to London, you both spent the exact same amount of money because the pound was so much stronger to the US dollar, and NYU might be one of the most expensive schools in the fucking world.
I think it is currently the most expensive school, although at the time it was not. And it was not.
Do you remember your tuition? Because I'm in $53,000 worth of student loan debt right now that I'm never paying you, Sally Mae. I'm going to defer it until I die.
I think I don't remember what the tuition was, but I remember it was a reasonable tuition, and you had to have a B average to get in, and that was it. And now to get into NYU Film School, you need to have an incredible portfolio and incredible grades and incredible SATs. And
you have to be co-signed by Anthony Mangella, and he's dead already. You're like, yeah, sorry, you had to. He's the dean. He did the English patient. He didn't go there, but that was the name that popped in my head.
Crazily, they've made a documentary about our group, the state that formed at NYU, and the history of how we all got together and what we did. That was premiered at the Tribeca Film Festival just a week ago.
I saw that, and then I saw when it was. I think we were doing Austin together when you guys were all performing together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really cool, and you know this, David, because it's your second time coming on. We are slowly chipping away on getting every member of the state. We've had Thomas.
I love that.
We looked it up. I think we're at 50%, somewhere in there.
Name everybody we've had.
Oh, I had this up a second ago. Oh my goodness.
We've actually had 98% of the SNL alumni as well, which is fucking
That can't be true.
It's
There's
Belushi
like
is the only
SNL.
thing you can't get. I'm trying to Frankenstein
not
Belushi
true.
to make it happen. 98%.
Just have ChatGPT channel Belushi. That'll work.
Easy.
All right, so while he looks that up, I'll go back into
Kenny Silver.
Yeah, go ahead.
Carrie Kenny Silver. We had
Who
her,
else?
obviously.
Tom, we
what
had Tom
album?
Lennon.
Do you have it in
Thomas
front of you
Lennon.
what albums they did?
Yeah, do that too. She did
check it
she did PJ Harvey. I know that for a fact. She did
Oh,
PJ
cool.
Harvey. It might have been, yeah, it was Rid of Me because Mary Lynn Ricegub did
great.
Stories from the Sea, Stories from the whatever. Michael Ian Black did Black Flag Damaged, which I have a t-shirt I just recently got of that. I'll be selling that soon for my Europe trip.
Anyway, you had a lot of them on, and they did the stuff. That's
They
great.
did this stuff. He'll find him out. We'll get him at the
Yeah,
end. We'll
yeah,
get him at the end. Let's get back to this fucking awesome record. All right. She's a writer. She loves music. She knows there's these people out there that wants to be around music, much like you wanted to, you loved comedy and you wanted to be around comedy.
So I went to where it was happening. Yeah.
What's happening? She tries bands in London. You tried sketch groups and shit like that, probably. And she goes to London. She goes to Paris. Then she goes back to Ohio. I'm assuming you stayed in New York.
I stayed in New York for 26 years.
Exactly. Then you went to, but she goes back to London in 76. And guess what? Now you got punk happening. The Ramones came by already. Punk rules. And she is like, someone marry me so I can stay here in London. Right. She plays in a band, with I think Mick Jones, so basically an early version of the Clash. She also played in an early version of the Damned, the first punk rock single band. And her only thought is, how can she put together a band? And now I'm assuming with you love comedy, you're doing all of that. You're like, how can I put together a sketch group?
Right. I mean,
all right.
Yes, that's.
I'm not. It's all right. Hey, dude, I'm hoping.
No, I'm feeling the connection. This is
okay.
awesome.
Cool. All right, cool.
Maybe
all right,
one day we'll have dinner, she and I.
Ooh, it's gonna happen, dude.
Ooh.
All right, she plays with Steve Strange in a band that's called the Moors Murderers, which eventually becomes the Visage Band. Did I say that right? Excuse me. She's surrounded by ground zero of punk rock. Wants to be in a band bad. Puts ads up in the Melody Maker. And she finally meets bassist Pete Farndon. Yeah. And then James Honeyman Scott on guitar and Martin Chambers, the drummer. She wants punk, but she's inspired by The Great Pretender by Sam Cooke and the Platters, but really the Sam Cooke version. She does a demo of a Kinks cover, Stop Your Sobbing. Years later, it's so funny. She actually has a baby with Ray Davis. Was he the guy that came on our podcast?
Yeah, I think so.
We had
right?
Ray on, right? Yeah, we had
Yeah.
the Kinks. Isn't that fucking cool?
Then called Ray Davies.
Yeah, I
Davies.
call him Dave. Fuck, Jesus Christ, Josh. I'm sorry. Thank you for the correction. He's at Stiff Records. There's Nick Lowe. He's like, okay, cool. I dig your sound. I'll produce your single, and they do the Kinks cover.
Oh, we had Dave Davies.
Yeah, Dave Davies on.
Dave.
Yeah, okay. So they do the single. It does okay, mid-30s in the UK. Nick passes on the record. They get signed. The single Brass in Pocket, producer Chris Thomas a few years earlier. He had produced Nevermind the Bullocks. And he's a guy that can make punk bands palatable.
I heard that she fired Nick Lowe because he wasn't taking them seriously.
Ooh.
Who knows? Who knows?
Who knows? But that could be
Memory
be
is
true.
elastic.
No, totally. But also, you know, and I think we'll get into this in a second about what I'm about to say about her, you know, so put a pin in that, because they get Chris Thomas, who did Nevermind the Bullocks, and he's a guy that can make punk rock. He can basically keep the edge, but still make shit a great pop record. Because if you listen to Nevermind the Bullocks, it's still just, if you just, you know, Motown it or whatever, it's amazing. He's the guy. And then they make one of the greatest debuts ever, up there with the Cars and Appetite and whatever we've said before. She brings something very, very special that I really heard, and then after watching a documentary about her, I really understand why we're talking about Chrissy. She's not, and I'm going to pull the pin out of what you had said about firing Nick Lowe, is that she's not just a female band. She's not just the female singer in a punk band or something. She's with the band. she is as big a part of the band as the guitarist, the drummer, everybody. If
Well,
not
and
even the
she's
most important, because
fully
she
in
follow
charge.
you're
And
fully
she's
in
the
charge. She's following the rock
songwriter,
star.
the singer, and like the leader in every way, as far as I can see it.
Exactly. She's following the rock star ethos. She's going to be the singer. She's going to be the guitar player. She's noisy. She brings a sensibility of pop to everything. There's aggression, and yes, it's punk rock. With there's a punk rock overtone to the record, but you can still watch the early stuff of them rehearsing, and they sound fucking great.
Yeah.
And then like we said before, like you see in the music video, she's got the fringe and the bangs, and she's playing the telly, and she's
But
not
you can
just
feel it's like no joke. Like this is a woman who knows music and who knows the history of what's led into it, and
Exactly.
also just to me, also as a drummer, Martin Chambers is like one of the great all-time drummers. He's like maybe one of my absolute favorite drummers. I think.
Yeah, there's a couple
just
songs I brought up
stunning.
where I really specifically about the drums, where I'm like, wow, like different time signatures, real
Oh,
cool
yeah.
shit that he does, dude. But it's it's her. You watch that music video for Brass in Pocket, she is the band.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
She's
there's
just as much of, you know what I mean? Like she's not just like, I don't want to discredit some of the other, like, who is the we were talking about that, who's that other band they made the movie about where Lita Ford came from there and Joan Jett?
Oh, you mean the Queen?
Cherry Bomb. Yeah,
Yes,
Queen did
yes,
Cherry
yes.
Bomb. Yeah, it was Queen. But even in that group, it just almost feels like it's corporately made in a
Right.
sense, whereas the Pretenders feel like it's a real band.
Oh, in
And
every
she
way, of
is
course.
the she can stand up there with anybody and be the rock star that she is.
I just feels like she was an obsessed believer in the ethos of rock and roll, and wanted to, and still does to this day. They still do these scrappy tours all the time in 2025, and there's no frills. I think she's
Just rock
so
and
cool.
roll, yeah. And
Yeah.
like we said, and big shout out to the rest of the band too. James can't be denied. She met a perfect band. She met
Yeah.
for these first two records a perfect band. She plays
question.
down the musicality. She plays down her punk rock sound, but yet they put out a perfect debut. Covers everything, badass lyrics, incredible music, and ahead of its time and still being copied today.
And also, I think Honeyman Scott it's unprecedented what he's doing. His sound is unmistakable, and I don't think it doesn't feel like there's anyone's done exactly what he does. And her voice, of course, is also there's nobody like that. There's nobody who sings like Chrissy Hynde.
I mean, it's really cool. Like I said, how when I find stuff, and when the albums are coming up on the podcast, and it's just, I played it at the gym, listened to it the first time all the way through, and I was just like smitten with this record. And I recommend every single person that's listening to this that hasn't listened to the record
Go
yet,
to the gym.
go to the gym, do a CrossFit, do Murph,
Mhm.
do Murph.
Or maybe Orange Theory.
You can do Orange Theory, not Pilates. This is not a Pilates record, even though they probably played Brass in Pocket at a Pilates class before, and because the instructor loves it. But little do they know, do not play Kid or the Tattooed Love Boys at the Pilates class. Some undertones we're going to get to. Let's kick off the record. This is what a great opening song with that "Fuck Off," dude. Precious really is just something just so fun. What was that like being a kid hearing that for like the first time?
Like I mentioned before, one of the early lyrics in that song is East 55th and Euclid Avenue, and I'm like, I know that corner.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just so raw and raucous, and I remember very clearly. I've seen the Pretenders many times live, and when they play it live, they add this little extra riff where they go at one point, where it's just something about it. And as a drummer, also like that, just opening thing where it's like boom, 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 boom,
Yeah.
boom, 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 it just gets me every time. I'm not going to say anything eloquent because I'm not a good talker.
No, you do. Neither am I. And I just have I have like mishmagosh to read, but this is, According to Morty, this is a hard driving rock song that gets the album started, putting the themes of sex, angst, and independence out there right away.
And she swears in it, which at age 11, I'm like, oh, that's so cool. She's like,
I know, but not me, baby. I'm too precious. I had to fuck off. When's the last time you said fuck off to somebody? When's the last time? Really?
I'm actually, I stepped out of the editing room where I'm editing a movie right now. And I told the editor, fuck off just an hour ago, but I was kidding. I don't know if that counts.
Yeah, it counts. I was hoping for like, oh, dude, like I was this guy at Trader Joe's in the parking lot, and why are all the parking lots at Trader Joe's in Los Angeles? It might as well be downtown Beirut. Like it's horrible.
I want to park in that spot and Trader Joe's parking lot, so fuck off.
Yeah,
I played. And at various points in various bands I've been in my life, we've played various songs on this record. And Precious was a big one for in my 15-year-old band, Immoral Minority. No, it was called Batman and Robin at the time.
So let's spin it to this. Let's just talk to the title Precious. What's out of all the projects that you've done, what's the one that you hold the most dear to your heart?
All the things I've done in my whole life?
Out of all your projects, everything, what is your most precious?
It sounds like I'm trying to get out of the question, but it's so hard to answer that because I really, for so many of them, was so deeply loving and connected to it at the time that it was my favorite thing then, and is still there now in a way. So like my favorite thing I've worked on is the thing I'm editing right now. You know,
I get it. Yeah, and that's great. I mean, I think that goes with what you were saying. We were making the jokes, but actually being serious about living in the moment. You know, this moment is our best moment ever because it's the only one that we have. And
I mean, I'm not one of those guys that like never look back. I do enjoy, thinking about the experiences I've had before. And obviously my first movie, Wet Hot American Summer, was its own special experience to be doing something for the very first time. And each thing has its own special reason why it was cool.
Where do you put Stella if you're ranking in the
very special?
Very special. So special.
And Stella seems to have connected to a lot of people in a very particular way that
dude. I loved it. Happy. I loved Stella, man.
And I'm sad that we've never haven't done in many years. We have never done anything, and maybe we will someday. It'd be great.
You know, that's what's so cool about your career is you've done like you'll do something, you move on, and then the way you went back into the series with Netflix, with Wet Hot, which was so great and special in their own way, and I feel it's just really it's like what I said, dude. You are very Forrest Gumpy, bro. You got the gump. You got the gump in you.
Life is like a box of chocolates. What can I say?
Yeah, you'll get diabetes. All right, the phone call. The phone. Yeah. If you're from Philly, it's the phone call. The phone call.
And that song has the actual phone call sound in it.
It does.
That's the main thing I can say about that.
I thought this was a good song, but I like the question. Review. I like the question very much more than I actually think I like the song. What's a phone call that you got that changed your life?
Oh. I remember getting the phone call that they picked up our show, The State, for to go to series on MTV when I was in my early 20s, and I was staying at the house of my friend who had produced the pilot in Los Angeles, where I did not live, and I remember that one very clearly, and that obviously changed my life in a way that could not even be. I can't even imagine the sliding doors if that hadn't happened.
Did you get the first call, or did someone else everybody got called at the same time? Or?
Yeah, I don't remember. Maybe it was from an agent or something. I can't remember actually who was on the other line, but I just remember getting that call and being like, "Oh, this is going to be great."
What was the budget that they gave you for the first season that MTV
Oh my
gave?
God.
It must have been nothing, right?
I don't remember numbers, but I do know that we shared the 11 of us shared one office.
No, fuck off.
Like one room.
We had one water cup, one mug.
And they gave it like for much of the production, it was like, bring your props from home. We use our own camera. It was like a lot of that. But it was incredible.
It's that
the keys to the kingdom,
They really did. And it was that beautiful like moment in the Pee-wee documentary that just came out that I've been talking about to everybody to watch, where they're talking about him making he's making Pee-wee's Playhouse, and it's like they're shooting in this like small room in New York, and they have nothing, and it's like and they're putting, or even fucking Honora, they're putting, that director Sean Baker put, he's like, we have no craft service because everything that we're spending is going into the production because I care. I'm a true independent, and I think that yes, regardless if you're with MTV, and this is MTV in the fucking 90s, so that was the station.
Yeah,
they're still Viacom. I don't know if it's Viacom at that point, but they're still cheap as fuck. And it's like,
well, also because all of their programming was music videos with little wraparounds of one kind or another, and so the whole idea of actually doing any sort of production, they were like, you want like a real camera, and you want makeup, and you want props, and we're like, yeah, we want to shoot stuff like, and it was all new, and they sent us out originally with news crews, like MTV news crews that come with a camera guy and like one of those umbrella things for the light,
yeah.
And we were like, all right, we'll figure this out.
What was the first project then, David, that they gave you, like, not free range money wise, but you were like, okay, we got enough. I got enough here. Everybody can eat. Everybody's comfortable. We're not cutting corners on shit. What was what project?
Well, I've done, in my whole career, I've done 2 movies for studios, Role Models and Wanderlust. And those were the 2 times that I felt like, oh, we have like plenty of money.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know how to spend all the money on those 2. Like I was particularly on Role Models. Excuse me. We would get towards like 3/4 through the day, and I'm done with what I need to do because we had so much time and so much resource. And I was like, okay, let's just leave because there's nothing else to do. And that was nuts.
Should we get crab cakes for everybody? You want to get crab cakes?
It was great. And I'd be like, yeah, is there any chance we could do this? They're like, yep, here it is. And wow. But mostly my comfort zone and most of my career has been, trying to make miracles every day with nothing and, pulling off every trick in the book to get it done. And I find that more fun.
Some call that Forrest Gumpy.
It's a little Forrest Gumpy and scrappy.
All right, let's talk about Up to the Neck.
Yeah, people are tuning in to hear about this song.
No, they're not. There's only so much we can talk about. There's only so much I've got the good info. I've got the good info that we need to go over. The rest of this is going to be about you. Up the Neck.
All these songs have these great riffs, these great sort of like very catchy, Up the Neck is, I mean, not one of the big hits on the record, but I love how they all open.
Yeah, I love the lyrics. It's very heavy lyrically, very, really heavy lyrically.
And also no apology. Like she's just like, I don't care what anyone thinks. I'm like, fuck you all. It's great.
She's a bad bitch, dude. She is a bad chick. What's a project you were up to your neck in work and are shocked that you even got it finished?
All of them. That's a more common experience. Somebody was just yesterday asking me about Children's Hospital, which is the show we did on Adult Swim for like 7 seasons. And that was just like, because we were I guess like any TV show, but we would shoot 2 episodes every 4-day shoot block. And we were writing it and directing it and editing it all at the same time. And so I just felt like there was never a moment to breathe,
But that's also like that exciting thing about making anything when you're just in it and it's like, yeah, you're overwhelmed and it's like, fuck, how are we going to do this? But then you start seeing it come together. And I mean, that might have been, yeah, it's
yeah. I'm so much happier when I've got one project that has a million tentacles, but it's all serving one thing versus trying to, when you're in between projects and you're pitching or hustling 40 different things and you're wondering which one's going to go. That part is not fun to me. I hate that part.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a moment. All right, this is a song. The next one, DJ Morty Coyle, my writer, he said, if I don't talk about this song, we might as well end the podcast. Tattooed Love Boys. Before I get your opinion on it, I just want to give the audience, this is a really cool song. If you don't know anything about it, this is basically Chrissy Hynde taking back the power from a sexual assault that she had committed on her by the biker gang. I think the Hells Angels. She's hanging out with a friend. She was asked to go to a party with some guys from a local biker gang. Her friend declined, but Hynde went along with the bikers. She takes full accountability for the attack too. In her book, Reckless, My Life as a Pretender, she wrote, end quote, Now, let me assure you that technically speaking, however you want to look at it, this was all my doing, and I take full responsibility. You can't fuck around with people, especially people who wear I Heart Rape and On Your Knees badges. While she was being attacked, one of the assailants said, "Shut up, you're going to make some plastic surgeon. Shut up, or you're going to make some plastic surgeon rich." She paraphrases that threat in the lyrics. You know what they say, "Stop sniveling, you're going to make some plastic surgeon a rich man." Chrissy Hynde waited until 2016 to explain the song, which is understandable considering the subject matter. She typically stayed away from interpreting her lyrics, leaving that task to the listener. But the song is very vexing, man. It's that, dude, the line that fucking stopped me in my tracks, which I know you know what I'm talking about. I shot my mouth off, and he said, I'm going to show you what that hole was for.
And but also just the way where that comes musically in the song, you're like, dun, 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 dun. Oh God, dude. It is the most incredible. I mean, and also, I mean, just on the music side, like the most insane guitar solo of all time, and the back and forth between the guitar and the drums, and that like at the end.
Yeah, I misquoted the line. I just want to get it right, just so because I know Morty's like, you fucked it up. I shot my mouth off. You took me upstairs and showed me what that mouth was for. Wow. God damn it, dude. It's stop you in your tracks. Like, is it the mouth? Is it her vagina? Like, is it her, like, well, we have no idea. But it's not even just that. It's the fact that she would like sing about that. And this is a real thing that happened to her. It's like, I was talking to a famous comic who's in New York right now, not with his family. We were walking around during Father's Day yesterday. And why was it we were talking about taking the power back? Fuck, why did I just bring that up and then completely lose my train of thought? Either way, this is one of those. Go ahead.
I want to say, because you say about getting it right. I just looked it up to make sure I'm right. Yeah, I got pretty good at changing tires upstairs, bro. I shot my mouth off, and you showed me what that hole was for.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
come on.
Yeah, dude. Did you ever have a bad boy period? I know I'm not like, it's a weird segue, but did you ever?
That's a tough segue.
I really didn't. I didn't have much of a rebellion. And I was sort of the one kid who like didn't drink or smoke or get into too much trouble as a kid. I mean, I had my license taken away because I took the wrong left turn when I had a suspended license.
What a bad boy.
Yeah, I mean, no, I have no good stories like that.
I dig it.
I didn't join a biker gang. No.
He's like, I went to the Hells Angels. They said you either got to be beaten or fucked in. So I got fucked in. All right.
I was too busy in the basement, like, playing with my video.
Yeah, you're like, I was in the Hells Angels, but when they fought other gangs, I held the coats.
I did make a video. I did make a TV series with my friend when I was 12 called Fight on Hollywood Boulevard about different Latino warring gangs, which I knew nothing about. But we played all the parts. I think it would be considered problematic today.
Probably. Is it more problematic than the fake Latina character in the movie Aliens, which is my favorite movie of all time? And then I just found out that that's the woman that played the foster mother in Terminator 2 and played the Irish mother in the Titanic.
Oh, interesting.
Just a regular white chick that was jacked. Dude, she's so good in it. I mean,
well, in the old days, you could play all ethnicities. It's not the thing anymore.
And now you can't, except for Jews. You can play Jewish, but you
right.
cannot play anything else.
Although that's becoming also a thing you can't do.
Not according to Sarah Silverman. She said it's Jew face has been going on forever.
Right, but Sarah Silverman's been a big voice for stopping that from happening. And like
big ups.
She spoke up and they ended up canceling the Catherine Hahn biopic about Joan Rivers.
Oh, they did? I didn't know. Oh, see, that's funny because that was where I remember it really coming up, and I had no idea they canceled that. Good for them.
Yeah.
Get a Jew. That sounds so racist.
Get a Jew.
Get a Jew.
Gather up the Jews.
Need something done. Get a
Gather
Jew.
up all the Jews and bring them. Wait a minute. Don't say that.
me and Jeremiah, I'm going to see Oasis in England in late July, and I'm going through like a period of like soul searching,
Bragging.
and so I'm gonna go get lost in Europe, and one of the places we're gonna go is Auschwitz.
I've never been.
Not? Yeah, I would hope so. Most people You know, it's not
Just
like,
don't stay lost when you're there. Like make sure you leave.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, dude.
I don't
We're
think
gonna
it's
do,
operational anymore in the
we'll
same
do a
way it
couple of those
was.
like
I hope
sad
not.
TikTok videos. I hated
Yeah.
You're
those.
not
Those
luring me there, are you? Just
No,
good,
no,
good.
dude. I'm gonna get you to Turkey, and then we'll tickle you because they're a Turkish bathhouse. It's my whole plan. All right, I'm skipping
Whoa.
Space Invader because I don't think that's just about the
Well,
video game.
except that it's also got the sound of the video game in it,
Hmm.
which is that's you can skip it otherwise.
Yeah.
Because the next song is my favorite song on the record.
Oh, you're
Oh,
supposed to do that at the end, but who gives a fuck?
Well,
We got it now, so we don't have to ask that question now.
We blew it, but people are dying to know.
Buried the
I will.
lead. Rad. This song is rad. I love it, and I know why you love the wait. It's because of the timing.
Well, I think retroactively I realized that part of it is because it's that weird 14/7 time signature, but it's just also just one of my favorite songs, and we played it in my band when I was 15 or 16 at when we won the Byron Middle School Battle of the Bands, playing a cover of this song, "The Wait," along with "Haha, I'm Drowning" by Teardrop Explodes and "This Charming Man" by the Smiths.
breaking
This
news.
charming man. What's your favorite song to play with Middle Aged Jam Band? Can I guess?
Mm-hmm.
As a drummer, I see that you guys have done Scenes from an Italian, which
Yeah,
is
that was super fun.
yeah, especially probably the ending that bam 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 bam, which is almost like the ending to Born to Run as well, where it kind of
Yeah. Well, we actually we've mashed them together exactly that on
Oh,
stage.
yeah,
We do
and
where Born to
amazing.
Run goes to that ending thing, and then we go right into da 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 into
and
Scenes from the Italian.
Burr and me went to go see Billy. I've seen Billy more than anybody. I've probably seen him about 26 times live.
Oh wow!
15 of them
Well,
in a row at Madison Square Garden.
you have to come. We're gonna in January. I think we're gonna be doing an all night only Billy Joel concert.
So we
Nice.
did that at the goddamn Comedy Jam at Moon Tower a couple years ago.
Oh wow!
I opened with I Go to Extremes. Big
Mm-hmm.
J did Allentown. The
Mm.
Sklar did Big Shot. Gianmarco Sorsi did Piano Man. And
Oh
then
wow!
Lisa Ann Walter did Scenes from an Italian. And our keyboardist couldn't play the so Judy Gold, we held the note that boom, 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 boom. We were like, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Judy Gold. And she just came up and fucking
That's so funny. Oh my god, I love it.
I would love to be a part of it,
Meanwhile,
dude.
our piano player plays it perfectly.
Okay. Well, is your
Not to brag.
piano player a 6'7" lesbian comic?
Weirdly, yes. But no.
Okay. All right.
But
I would
wait,
love, dude. Dave.
my other favorite song to play, though, just to answer your question, is "Who Are You?" Because anything that's challenging, I like to. That's what makes it fun.
Totally. But one of our contributors to the podcast is Mike Portnoy. You know that, right?
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah. He came
I've
on to
chatted
do
with him on Instagram once or twice. He's a great guy.
great
He's
guy and loves music. He came on to do
Mhm.
Captain Fantastic and the Brown Derby. Is that the
Mm.
album called? Yeah, but it was just, and then he writes blurbs about other records that he loves that we read. So he just had a blurb about, we just did Paul's Boutique last week. And so he wrote a blurb
Oh,
about how that's
wow,
the
how
Sergeant
great.
Pepper. Yeah. And talk about another
Yeah.
great documentary. I recommend everybody watch the Beastie Boys doc on Apple TV
Yeah.
by Spike Jones. It's phenomenal. Really gives you the scope of how important MCA was as a human being. Yeah. All right, dude. My question for you for the wait. I have two of them, but I'm gonna do the Morty question, Jeremiah. He'll be happier. What's the best moment when you didn't do something, you took a pause because you were maybe heated? Maybe it was a note. You ever gotten a note and you were about to say fuck off and then you just fucking had to pull back?
Wow.
You waited the wait.
I feel like as I've grown and matured as a person, all the time I've learned now to stop before reacting. To take a second. So yeah, but a good example, I don't know. I feel like there's many times somebody says something, and I'm like, I want to attack them back, and I'm like, and then I take a second. I'm like, oh no, actually, it's not worth it. I can just chill. It's okay. Let them work out their own thing.
Dig it.
But
Can I give? Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No.
No, you go ahead because you're supposed to say something. They don't want to hear me.
I'm just excited about the song "The Wait" because also the most incredible drum thing, and I have played that song live. I've sung it and played the drums live with the Baked Potato with Steve Agee once.
Oh yeah.
Crazy. And then I made my own cover of it one time that you can see on YouTube, and I had to slow it down to sing the words are so fast that I couldn't sing them. So wait, child, magic child, we're going out now. Work at. Wait, child, tin ball child, Pluto child hurts, and all that stuff. Anyway.
No, I love it. What's the longest wait you ever had on a project from finished to being released?
Well, I've had many things that were never released. And I've also had many projects where the studio or the financer says, yes, let's go. And then it's another year before the next step happens. Or right now I just had a meeting this morning about a project that I've been working on for like 6 years, trying to, everything's so slow.
It really does move like snail's pace in Hollywood.
Well, the movie that I'm editing right now, we wrote it 10 years ago. We've been trying to make it for 10 years.
No way, dude.
Yeah.
And you've been pitching it for 10 years and then finally you got a bite?
Finally got a bite.
How exciting was that bite though? Like, did you guys?
Incredibly exciting. And the one movie I made before in 2013, they came together, same thing. We had written it originally in 2003 and just, I never shut up about it until somebody finally said yes.
I love it. Yeah, that's determination. Because you know what you did? You stopped your sobbing. End of side one. Bringing it back. Ray Davies, not Ray Davis. Everybody know. I don't know music besides Stone Temple Pilots. And they're not on this list. This was recorded by the Kinks from the 64 self-titled debut record by the Kinks. Pretenders front woman Chrissy Hynde had been a longtime Kinks fan, suggested the band try the song. She explained, I pulled it out of the air when we were in rehearsals, surprised that no one had heard it before. Ray and Hynde eventually met at a New York club in 80, began a relationship, and skedoodled, and they got a kid. So there you go, man. That's crazy how the shit fucking happens in this world. Thoughts on go ahead.
That might happen. That someday I'm going to meet Chrissy Hynde and we'll have a kid.
100%.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Anything's possible.
Anything. Thoughts on Stop Your Sobbing? What do you love? What do you dislike? Anything? You tell me.
I didn't realize it was a cover till later on. And so then when I listened to the original, I was like, oh, how cool. How interesting. Another great song that I have played in bands in my life, and nothing else to say.
No, perfect. But I'll tell you, this, though.
Go ahead.
No, Jared. Go ahead. You go.
Well, you said that Chrissy Hynde had fired him, or did you say the opposite? Because it sounded like I was just looking at this interview that Nick Lowe did, the producer, and he said that. Oh yeah,
we have that. Yes,
he was only interested in the one track, the cover, and the rest of it he wasn't really into. And then,
but what a blessing, though. I mean, goddamn, what a blessing to be able to get the new producer that basically molds their sound and does everything. Talk about happy accident, or like, hey, I don't really dig you, and she's like, all right, well, fuck off, and then fucking,
Yeah,
you get the rest.
I'm ashamed to say that they went on to make a bunch of great albums, and I foolishly, they only got a shrug from me. So,
and she clearly has never been one to be hesitant to fire people. I mean, she's constantly letting people go and trying new, collaborators and guitarists and songwriters. She's just like, I'm doing my thing, and fuck you.
What's the last thing, David, that made you cry?
I was crying. I had some teary moments on Saturday at the protests.
Yeah, you were in downtown LA.
Mm-hmm. You know what? One thing that made me cry is a city bus driver drove through and honked his horn in solidarity, and just something about the way that happened in the groundswell of cheers and everything. It just made me feel slightly hopeful.
It's so fucked up. I haven't been in LA since the protest started, but how most of the world thinks all of LA is on fire, and it's literally 2 blocks in downtown LA.
And it's a massive city.
A massive city, and that's it's in the area of like literally 3 blocks away is the most amount of drug addict, homeless people. It's not Beverly Hills that's on fire. I love those videos where people are like, "Yep, LA's burning," as they walk through like Westwood, and there's like women, with the yoga mats drinking a smoothie.
Yeah, it's pretty absurd. It's pretty absurd.
It's pretty absurd, whether you're for it or you're against it. If you've chosen your side, I hope everybody sleeps well and enjoys their life. It's just this world is a fucked up place. So if I would recommend anything, listen to the 500 with Chad and Meyers every Wednesday if it comes out on time. What's the last, Jeremiah? What's the last thing that made you cry?
My brother-in-law died. Not to bring everybody down, but
Jesus Christ, dude! My
Sorry,
God,
it's just
you want to talk about the Holocaust
easy.
for a few more minutes? You want to
back to Auschwitz?
My God.
Sorry,
and I'll say the last thing. What made me cry? Oh, I was listening to God Only Knows when Brian Wilson passed away, and I was just with my dog, and I really applied the song to her because she's 8.5, and it's just incredible. Like, you never can prepare for it. You try to, like, I try to like sit in it and go, hey man, this is, it's the deal, but I don't think you could ever. So, but that's what's beautiful about life. The love that you get from, from art, from community, from protests, from music, from everything. It's just dogs, whatever. It's just love is what makes the world go around. According to Oasis, all around the world. All right, fuck off. All right, fuck off.
I'm just trying to follow. I'm just with you,
dude. All right, let's start side 2 with Kid, which I just came to find out. This is about a fictional boy discovering that his mother is a prostitute, as you do. How do you think he found out? She was like, he opened the door and she was like, fuck off. I'm fucking.
Maybe it was like that movie, The Florida Project.
Is that what that's about? I didn't watch it.
It's incredible.
I watched Tangerine and I watched Nora, but I never watched The Florida Project. I love Willem.
Florida Project might be my favorite of them.
Yeah.
All right, done. I'm watching it. Thoughts on Kid?
Kid, another favorite. I love the melody. I focus more on the music than the lyrics, I guess.
Sure.
But also, it's a really haunting story of the. She's very confessional always. But I don't know. I like the flowing. Dong, 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 dong.
And to go off of the musicality, Johnny Marr of the Smiths has cited Honeyman Scott as an influence, often uses Kid as a warm-up song before gigs. By the way, and I know David, I'm assuming you've probably seen him live. I saw Johnny Marr at the Brooklyn Paramount, and I mean, I'm telling you, dude, that might be one of the coolest rock stars that's ever lived. Like, that concert was so much fun. He sounds
I never
great.
got to see the Smiths. I wish I had.
But as we get older, though, I think, at least me I only became a fan of the Smiths through the podcast. But Johnny Marr is the band. Morrissey is cool, man. Was cool. But now, if you're going to choose a side, all right, putting you on the spot.
But again, that's what it was. It was the two of them together that made it.
I know, but now, who do you pick?
Well, then Johnny Marr worked with Chrissy Hynde for a while.
So you pick Johnny. Yeah, of course.
I guess so. Yeah, sure.
Good. What's the weirdest thing you found out about your parents?
That my mom took a 2-week break from the contraceptive sponge in the late 60s, and that's why I came around.
Wow.
Fuck yeah, dude.
They had already had 3 teenage daughters, and it just had an unexpected surprise.
And what a surprise they got.
Great surprise.
I also found out that they co-hosted a local TV show called the Friedman Buick Dance Party in Cleveland, Ohio.
What?
And I saw black and white movies of this recently, and I was like, whoa.
Well, you didn't know this growing up?
Not really.
That's amazing.
It's so cool.
They also had a show called a 1 minute long radio show called Teen Beat, where my dad would read a letter from a teenager, like asking for advice on something, and my mother would give the answer.
Oh my God. Early podcasting. That would have been a hit.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like,
I assume the TV show is very, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm envisioning the TV show to be very like Waiting for Gus Guffman-esque. Everybody dance. Could
be. I wonder if there's any way to ever see it. It's probably, it's just live and over every time.
Oh,
It was in your DNA. That's what you're saying.
I guess so.
oh, we're figuring it out. Private Life. Let's dig into Private Life. Shortly after this track was released, it was covered by Grace Jones on her first record, Warm Leatherette.
Right.
Hynde is quoted as saying, like all the other London punks, I wanted to do reggae, and I wrote Private Life. When I first heard Grace's version, I thought, now that's how it's supposed to sound. Wow.
Oh, interesting.
I love Grace, man. I mean, View to a Kill, my favorite Bond movie, fucking Stranger, Boomerang, just gorgeous.
One of a kind also, yeah.
One of a kind, sure. Yeah. What are your thoughts on Private Life? Do you want to musically, you want to talk about that? Or you want to play drum
One of my
sounds?
favorite bass lines on the album, the
there it is. This right here, Jeremiah. This is the David Wain sweet spot when he gets to fucking mouth vocalize music.
This conversation is making me feel like I want to do like David Wain plays the whole Pretenders first album on tour.
You do that, and I'll do OK Computer by Radiohead.
All right, you can open for me.
Okay. Oh, yeah, it probably makes sense. Okay. I really liked Private Life. I really like it. And then I listened to the Grace Jones version. I really liked it.
Yeah, she did give it a little spunk too.
I've got 3 questions for this. I don't know. I like this one first. When was the moment you lost your private life?
I am not a celebrity. I have no fame.
You don't get recognized? When was the first time you got recognized, though?
I get recognized infrequently enough that it's never been like a hassle or a bother. I mean, the only time it's ever even come close to it is if we're at one of our shows and I just want to like leave the show or something and people are wanting to talk to me. But I'm thrilled that people in my world recognize my work, and that's wonderful. But if I ever feel like I want to get recognized, I know I can go to this one revival movie house near my house where I know that people who hang out there tend to overlap in the Venn diagram of people who are fans of our group.
Yeah. No, I get it, dude. If you want that ego boost, you're feeling, God damn, this project and the fucking corporate people aren't giving me. Let's go to the movie house.
If I'm in like a college town, there's a certain type of like coffee shop or place where I know I will likely get recognized if I walk in there.
Yeah. But what do you remember? Can you remember the first time you were recognized? Hold on.
Yes, I remember it very well.
Shut the fuck up. Sorry, my dog. Back to you.
It's a nice dog though. I remember very well because a group of us from the state, right as the show first came on MTV, went skiing. Like we drove out from New York to somewhere in Pennsylvania to go skiing. And we were sitting in the lodge and people were like pointing at us and we're like, holy shit, our show's on the TV and people are actually know who we are. Like that was a very clear memory of like, oh my God, this is insane. But another funny story that it reminds me of is later on in 2005, our show Stella came on Comedy Central and they put these big giant pictures of us up in front of Tower Records, like these big sort of billboards on the wall. And so I remember saying to my fiance at the time, just so you know, like life's going to be pretty different from now on. Like we're not going to be able to just walk around anonymously and, I'm probably going to have a big team around and blah, blah, blah. And all that. Turns out that was really not at all.
Yeah.
Everything's the same.
Just so you know, honey. Just, I remember.
Just be prepared for a lot of...
First time I got recognized was after the Netflix special thing came out, the Bill Burr Presents, and I was in perfect timing. I was with my nieces and my sister and her husband at the Empire State Building in New York City, and these two cute girls came up and they go, "Were you just in a Netflix special?" And I was like, "Yeah," and they were like, "Oh my God, my boyfriend loves you," and I was like, it just was like in front of like my 15-year-old niece, my 13-year-old niece, and they're just like, oh, and it was like, and I wouldn't want to be like, I played it off like, yeah, this happens all the time, but it was like inside, I was like, oh wow, And then
Well,
it's even
yeah.
cooler now with the internet and my clips going viral or having some of them gone, it's insane. Just the power
I
of
like
that.
when I'm recognized with my kids, because then I'm like, see, I'm not as much of a loser as you think I am.
Exactly. But I am the cool uncle. All right. Like speeding this up. I
I gotta go, guys. What the fuck?
No. You're going nowhere. You're going nowhere. We're talking about the Pretenders debut record here. Get me pictures of Spider-Man. All right.
Brass in Pocket.
Brass in Pocket. Perfect song. It is
Perfect
listed
song.
as number 389. Rolling Stone magazine's list of the 500 greatest songs of all time. Just ahead of Enter Sandman and just behind DMX's Party Up.
The
Chrissy
perfect
described.
guitar riff.
Yeah, oh my God, dude! Perfect music video. She was trying to do a Motown song, but couldn't get it quite right. It's got everything that you want. It's cocky. She's sure of herself. It's like she's so confident, and just even in that music video where she's playing the diner worker, it's just she just looks like a rock star, man. And what a great way to be like, hey, everybody, I'm Chrissy. This is my band. We're about to take over this fucking music scene, and we're someone to not be fucking fucked with.
Piece. It's just so, and then no one. He came up with that riff, I guess, it's played in a way that is not right. Like, I don't know. There's something guitar players have told me that once they actually figured it out, they're like, this is not the way you would ever think of something. And it's just so cool that when someone's brain works differently. We played that song with our band, the current Middle-Aged Dad Jam Band, not too long ago, and Natalie Morales sang it, and it was really awesome.
Nice. Oh, wow. She didn't like it. She said she didn't like it when it was recorded. She came to detest it when it became a huge UK hit. She says it was a phenomenon that evades me completely. I was honestly very disappointed it was such a huge hit. I was embarrassed by it. She explained that it was the group's producer, Chris Thomas, who convinced her to release it. She put up considerable resistance. She knew that fans loved the song, so she held her nose and played it at concerts and eventually stopped slanging it off in the press. It remains the Pretenders' set list throughout their career. She said, I didn't like my voice on it. I was kind of a new singer, and listening to my voice made me kind of cringe, which is so funny to hear her say that when we're talking about how confident and fucking cool and everything that she is. It went to number 1 in the UK. And I rose to number 1 in America as well, if I'm not mistaken. No, wait. Am I fucking this up? Hold on. Let me just read it the right way. It became a single, rose to the top in January 80, stayed at number 1 for 2 weeks. The album was released in that month, and it went to number 1 in the UK. In America, it took a while for the group to get noticed. Brass in the Pocket was their first single there. Sorry, went to number 14 in May of 1980.
Yeah, that's not exactly number 1.
Now you're yelling at me, okay? And I'm just trying to speed the podcast up. I'm even going to skip over Lovers of Today, motherfucker. All right? All right?
No, don't skip that. Don't skip Lovers of Today.
Then I won't. Fine. I have to go now.
Did you want to, Josh? But it was the 8th clip on MTV. That was the 8th.
Was it really?
8th video ever
Music
played on
video.
MTV.
That's insane.
And I was watching. That was my birthday in 1981 that MTV launched.
Yeah, oh, shit, dude. I still remember the day that the cable guy showed up to our house and fucking installed cable. We went from 5 channels to 15 because my parents didn't have the money for the 30 or whatever it was. What's the first thing you did with your first bit of money you got?
The first any amount of money I got was when I directed that movie Role Models, and for the premiere I went to Barney's and bought this really expensive suit, and it was not the greatest suit, and it didn't really fit that well, and I've never worn it again since. And also I realized at that time that nobody gives a shit what the director of a movie wears to their premiere, or any male at anything. And so
suits.
They
wear suits.
Worn a suit, or a suit that fit me well, that any tailor could happen. I could have gotten for $200, and I learned that lesson.
But it does feel nice when on the inside it says Barbados, which is my expensive suit that I bought. That if I gain any weight, I will never be able to wear. So lay off the testosterone, Josh. All right. Lovers of Today. I'm not going to skip over it because little David wants us to fucking do it. All right. There we go.
That's maybe my second favorite on this album, just because.
Why is it your second favorite?
It's complicated. I loved learning to. I remember as a kid playing it on the piano and trying to figure out all the way the chords melded with each other and the way that the vocal overlapped into the second one, and the riff would like start under the thing before. It just was all these cool things it did, and it's in 6/time, I think. And it's also just a very unusual song to be on a rock record. It goes these incredibly slow stopped parts, and then it starts, and then it stops, and I just love it.
I do too, but I really like I don't have any really info or anything on this one.
Okay.
Hence was why I was going to skip over it.
No, we don't have to.
But I love that. I love what you said, and so please don't
I
think
feel
I'm
like I
just
covered that one.
You really did. What about Mystery Achievement? Because I love it because it kind of go back to the Motown thing, and it's just what a great way to end the record. I mean, really, it's this record shows you just the influences are on their sleeves of every single thing that must have been going on in that time and what happened before it. And it's like to come out with a record like this as your debut, and then to start it with Fuck Off and to end it with Mystery Achievement. I mean.
Right.
That's badass, man.
When I first saw them in '83, I remember the encore was Mystery Achievement. And I don't think I had clocked that song as much before that night. And I remember just that and I was just like, this fucking rocks. And they did like a longer version, just kept like sort of chugging along. They did some of their songs that are like chug chug. The other ones on Learning. Anyway, yes, love it. Mr.
So let me ask you this, because I really like what you just said right there, because that's a really good question. Fuck the other question, because I love it when there's a song that you're like, all right, whatever, this is an okay song, and then you see it live and you're like, oh, I love this song. That happened to me when I went to see Iggy Pop. I always liked Lust for Life, but then I saw them do it with his new band, or at least with, I think the guy's name is Andrew Watt on guitar, the big music producer, and a young kid to fucking produced Ozzy's new record, Pearl Jam's new record, Dark Matters. This kid is so talented. I'm a fan. I wish I was him in so many levels.
I think you are.
Really?
I think you are him on so many levels.
Thanks, man. I mean,
no big deal.
Wow, you're a good
I was happy
dude.
to say it.
Dude, I needed to hear that today, because I was feeling more like fuck, I can't think of the woman that I had in my head. Who's the woman that's like,
Judy Gold?
We'll be grand, we'll be great when the world understands that the state.
Who's
that?
I don't know.
God damn it! What is it? Ethel Merman. Ethel Merman. I kept wanting to say Elaine May, and I'm like, it's not Elaine May. She's a comic. I was like, it's Ethel Merman. I was thinking, remember in Airplane when they're like, yeah, and they're at the hospital. Yeah. He's like, and this person's this, and this person thinks it's Ethel Merman, and it's really Ethel, and she's like, y'all big
my
brand.
second guess was Joanne Worley.
Close enough, dude. What's a song, other song that you saw live that you didn't like before, and then you saw it live and you were like, fuck.
Well,
that rules.
It wasn't that I saw it, but the classic example that everyone would have is "I Want You to Want Me." Which was like a nothing single, and then, but David, I want to stop you right there, because we did both of those records live at Budokan and the record with that on. I appreciate you stopping me, because I want to hear the real deal here.
Thank you, dude. I'm about to give it, dude. 6.5 years of doing this podcast. The regular version you went off the album is like cheesy.
Yeah, it's terrible.
And then they take it up to 11 according to Spinal Tap, and they give you a fucking rock song and with live at Budokan.
And some of these songs get unleashed when they go live, and that's exciting when that happens.
So not rec. So was it? Did you see Cheap Trick live?
No, I did see them live, but it was after everyone knew that was like the greatest hit. I saw them at the Great American Rib Cook-Off in Cleveland, Ohio, which I was a camera operator on for the local TV station in 1989.
The Forrest Gump of comedy. Yeah. My point has been proven once again. Who won the chili cook-off that year? Was it Frank Tarkenton again? That motherfucker.
This is the weirdest thing. I don't know why, but I can't remember who won the rib cook-off that year.
That dude, that guy's rib. Frank Tarkenton, not only a great quarterback for the old Washington football team,
Yeah.
but he is also a rib master, falling off the bone.
I will say I remember liking the Replacements, but then going to see them live in the bar in Cleveland when I was like 13 and being like, oh my
You
God.
saw the Replacements live?
In a fucking tiny bar. And they
Cool.
Dude.
that was like a life-changing event. That was like, oh, I see. It's not just like going to the Coliseum and seeing some band. Like this is
Sure.
like rock can be so visceral and so insane. And like I was like, this is it.
Dude.
Yeah.
One, because of the podcast, I got into them. And I remember when so many people were fighting over them, and we had David Cross on to do Let It Be.
Mm-hmm.
And great moment in the middle of the podcast. He stopped and was like, I didn't know anything about this podcast, but this is awesome, which you haven't done yet, because he loved that we took the album and made it about your life.
So special.
I didn't know anything about this podcast, but this is awesome.
Thanks, man. These compliments are raining down.
Um,
But isn't that cool? But the Replacements are just, I went to the Let It Be house when I was in Minnesota last.
oh, really?
Oh man, I'm such a huge fan of Alex Chilton is like one of my favorite songs ever.
I Will Dare. Are you kidding?
Oh God, I
Black
can't hardly
Diamond?
wait. Can't hardly wait.
Ugh.
Oh, dude,
Androgynous,
Oh.
unsatisfied. This is like, forget it. I want to do a
Alright.
Replacements tour.
dude, it's one of those bands that I get it now. I understand why cool people love cool music and why they really like the Replacements. I tried to make the connection how Mr. Show was the Replacements of comedy. I think I did a pretty good job of that too. And I feel that
Strong.
The State and Wet Hot American Summer and Stella is the Pretenders of comedy.
I will take the moniker.
Please. And to back up what you're saying too, Jer, remember when we went to go see, I liked My Morning Jacket, and then me and you went to go see them, and Lake Trout opened for them at the 930 Club during the It Still Moves tour. And it was like, oh, yeah, that's rock and roll. That's the thing about Turnstile, dude. I really think, David, you might really like them. Watch their
Looking it up
videos
right after.
I really do, man. I really think you'll like them. And their new record is just perfect. And it's that thing that it's like, you listen to the album, you're like, well, this is a good band. This is a really good album. And then you watch them do it live and you're like, holy shit. And they don't have security. So they let the kids come up and like fucking slam dance and then crowd surf. It's what life is about, man. It really is. It's a bunch of people just that don't know each other. It's the same reason we go to the movies. And when I went to go see Bring Her Back last week, when the movie ended, 10 of us stood out front and talked to each other. We just sat in a dark room. It's like when you go to a concert. Oh, dude, go see Bring Her Back in the dude, it is. If you like gore, uncomfortable gore, it's so good. Those two directors from Australia, I don't know their names, but I watched a lot of their old YouTube videos. Those were guys just like you, David. The way that you shot camera at the rib cook-off, and then you went to fucking doodles, and you skadoodle danged, and then you stelled, and then you zigged when people were zagging. Same
You know
shit,
who I used
dude.
to see at the 930 Club, by the way, before I go? Shudder
Who?
to Think. All the
Really?
Oh my God. Because I grew up in Shaker Heights, Ohio with Craig Wedge. And...
Sold it out.
Whoa.
Sold
There
it
you
out
go.
June 2022.
Good man.
And it was
Almost the
I have it
anniversary.
right here in my I have it right here in my office.
3-year anniversary in a week.
Yep. June 27th, 2022 is the DC Improv doing their 30th anniversary, and they had me do the goddamn comedy jam there. And they didn't want to do it there. They were like, "We'll just do it at the club." And I go, "No, I'm from DC. If you want to do this, we do it either at the Black Cat or the 930 Club." And then they got us to 930. They called me and they said, "We're going to give you a Cream Dream weekend. You're going to headline our club, and then on Monday we're going to do the 930 Club."
Awesome.
And with Jessica Curson and Tony Woods and Cypher Sounds, just legends of like New York comedy and DC people that have been there. And it was the most magical night. We hold on back to right to the beginning. about all this, how this moment is the only moment we have, is like you hold on to so many failures and so many no's in your life. And the good stuff comes and you always hold on to it while it's happening, and then you always seem to forget it and go right back to the misery sometimes. It's like to be able to like that's a moment I hold on to it. Anytime I ever think that man, I'm not doing shit. It's like, dude, you played the 930 Club. You sold that shit out, dude.
Yeah. There's a lot of those. You get those moments in life and you're like, this is doing this makes it all, it's enough. I remember when we were doing the state, I was 22 years old. I'm 55 now. And Ken Marino came up to me and he's like, dude, if this was the end of it, it's been a wild ride already. And I was like, yeah, you're right. So there you go. It's all been.
And now you guys are like, baby, come back. Anyone do for sure.
Meanwhile, Ken Marino is literally downstairs waiting for me to come back to the edit room. So I got to go.
Okay, cool. We'll wrap this up. No, we got to that. David, I'm so sorry. I mean, I'm just really having fun with you, bro. This is fun.
I want to stay here all day.
But you got to edit. You got to edit. All right. Let's wrap this up. All right, Jared. I don't think is there anything that we need to talk. I feel like we hit everything, right?
Just the Friends. She co-wrote, or he, Hynde co-wrote with Lisa Kudrow, the "Smelly Cat" song.
I didn't like that. I always thought that was gay. And I'm going to use that gay in the right way, in the way that it's supposed to be used.
That earworm in Akron, stays in your mind.
Yeah, it is, but I was never a Friends. All right, gun to your head, Friends or Seinfeld? Who you picking, David?
Seinfeld.
Perfect. All right, let's wrap this up, dude. Please come back on. And I mean this when I say it, David. Like I love doing this podcast, but it's because of episodes like this. I really had a good time with you today, man. I'm a huge fan, obviously. Please invite me to sing I Go to Extremes on. I can fucking murder that song, or any Billy Joel song.
Come hang out.
I will.
Wait, what? How many are you through? The 500.
How many we have left, Jared?
Our last show is down. We're at 155.
Yeah, May 28th, 2028 is the final episode.
Wow, very cool.
And you know what? You want to know how we're still doing it? Because of one person, Senator Al Franken.
Good man.
It's true. We almost quit.
It really is. We were about to quit, and then Senator Al Franken said, "You can't quit." He goes, "You got to keep going, dude." I swear to God. And then literally, I walked outside, Jared. We were about to talk about money or whatever the fuck it was, and I walk outside. I'm going to get lunch, and a guy points at me. He goes, "Oh my God, I'm listening to the Mike Love John Stamos episode of your podcast right now." And I look up and I go, "God, you don't have to be that blatant. You could the landing could be a lot smoother. You don't have to be like." Ah. All right, let's do this. Let's get you out of here so we can get back to editing.
I don't want you to stop either.
Oh, I'm not. We're past the point, bro. Now we're past.
All right.
You already said favorite song on the record. What's your least favorite song on the record?
Oh my God, I have to pull up the thing again.
There's the Jew
my
in you.
least favorite song might be. I really, really do love every song on this record for real, but I guess maybe the phone call is the least memorable.
Sure, I'll dig it. What's the next question? What? Oh, can you fuck to this record?
Oh, big time, and I have.
Nice.
I really have.
Really?
There's like 3 or 4 records that I think of when I think of like, oh, this is fuck music.
Well, and they are The Pretenders, and what are the other two?
Twin Peaks soundtrack, depending on the different mood.
Sure.
And then maybe like Gimme Shelter, that kind of Rolling
Stone. I'm so excited to go to England in July and talk about and do my jokes. I have a whole bunch of jokes about music to fuck to, and be able to talk about Portishead and Massive Attack with them, because I was like, you guys created the best music to fuck to. Then I go, what were you guys fucking to before that? You say hello and I say goodbye. They didn't fuck to that. Maybe they did. All right. What would be your elevator pitch to get someone to listen to the debut record of The Pretenders by The Pretenders? What's your elevator pitch?
It's a whole album of every song, bangers, special, unlike any other album you've heard. That's like, it rocks hard and also is like spiritual and beautiful and interesting and deep. And it's got everything you want all in one record.
I don't think you could have said it any better. I really don't. I think that was the perfect way to end it. David, please promote away anything you want everybody to check out. Or, I mean, we've talked about Wet Hot.
If you're in the East Coast in July, please come by. We're going to be doing 4 incredible shows with the Middle Aged Dad Jam Band. So much fun. Music, comedy, me and Ken Marino and a bunch of others. Craig Wedren is on our tour too. And it's... Albany and Boston and Philly, and then New York, Queens, the Rockaway Hotel. It's going to be great.
Dude, you know I live in New
MADJ.
York City, right?
Come on by.
Can I do a song? I'll kill it, dude. I'll kill it. I'm not as famous as you guys, but dude, I will murder it.
Let me go and I'll talk to my partner Ken. Right
Okay, cool. Okay. Dude, David, this.
But it's we're gonna be at the Rockaway Hotel in Queens. It's gonna be super fun. MADJB.com.
Dude, check them out. Check the videos out. It's, dude, David, when I say you're the Forrest Gump of comedy, man, you're definitely up there. I mean it. But more than anything, dude, thank you for coming on today. This really was something that I needed. I think our fans fucking are going to go crazy for this episode, especially with just your vocalizations on. If we're just going to can't take them out and make a whole album of that.
There you go.
Thank you, brother.
Have a great one.